Welcome everyone. May I ask every participant to please mute their microphone during the webinar? It would be very appreciated. Thank you. So welcome to the ABL Diagnostic webinar introducing the DEEPCHEK genotyping technology. Today we will have an overview of this technology and feedback from user experience. So first of all, I would like to remind you that this webinar is actually recording and that it will be made available through the ABL website. During the presentation, I also invite you to ask your question directly by typing in the chat of this webinar. And at the end of the presentation, we will address the questions. If we manage to address all the questions during the session, it will be very nice. If we don't have the time, we will address all the questions in writing after the webinar. So for today, the agenda will be an introduction to the DEEPCHEK assay and software, including a live demo of the software. Then we will have a presentation from Dr. Lutz Gertmann from University Hamburg-Eppendorf in Germany about the transition from a Sanger-based sequencing to NGS for drug-resistant genotyping in a diagnostic environment. Unfortunately, Dr. Graziella Zara from Mater Dei Hospital in Malta is not able to present today for personal reason, but our presentation will be available in the form of a slide deck upon request. So please don't hesitate to ask at the end of the presentation. We will be able to share the slide and also to share with you the recording of this session. As I mentioned to you, at the end, we will have a question and answer session. So please feel free to type your question in the chat of this webinar. And finally, in the previous week, we had also a webinar, but in French, with also user experience. And the slides presentation from this webinar can be also available upon request. So I will start from my side with the introduction to the DEEPCHEK assay and software. So as you will see on this first presentation, at ABL, we propose end-to-end solution for microbiology genotyping. We propose solution on the full chain, as you can see here, from the specimen collection, extraction, amplification, sequencing, and data analysis. Today in my presentation, I will focus on amplification, sequencing, and data analysis. So at ABL, we propose amplification kits for different targets. We have a large portfolio of application, as you will see in the next slide. And also we have the particularity of providing kits that are compatible with Sanger sequencing workflow and NGS sequencing workflow. Regarding the sequencing part, we are also providing library preparation kit, and depending on the technology, Sanger sequencing kit or additional kit that could be necessary for the sequencing part. We are also specialized in data analysis. As you will see during the live demo in a few minutes, we have a full web-based platform to analyze the data from the different targets that we have in our product portfolio. For all the steps, we have also a solution for automation through robots. So this is fully automated solution for diagnostic routine. So here you have the full picture of our portfolio of application. So I would like to highlight the fact that for the different type of application, we can provide target-specific kits, like for HIV here, the first line, as you can see, we have a first kit that targets the RT and PROT region from one side and the integrase from another side. These kits typically are CIVD and compatible with Sanger and NGS workflow. But we provide as well a brand new kit that covers the full RT-PROT and integrate region in one single PCR reaction. And in our portfolio, interestingly, for the different targets, we propose as well whole genome genotyping kits that are compatible with many sequencing platforms. So don't hesitate to request additional information regarding the targets that are presented here. As you can see, we have a large portfolio in infectious disease for HCV, HBV, HDV, and CMV. We have also additional kits in microbiology, by example, for tuberculosis or 16S. And we keep updating this portfolio of application with new kits through our R&D department. Now let's have a quick focus on the sequencing part. So as you have seen, we have a lot of different applications that are available. And what is very interesting is the capacity to pool and multiplex those different targets in the same NGS run as it is highlighted here in the picture at the right of the slide. As you can see here in this example, we present a multiplexing, a pooling, including 5 HIV samples, 2 SARS-CoV-2, 2 tuberculosis, 5 16S RNA, etc. All these applications can be pooled in the same NGS run using our NGS library preparation and adapters. And then, after the sequencing, you will be able to load the FASTQ file from the sequencing to our application. As you will see, it's a web-based platform with different modules for the different application, and you will be able to analyze easily your data. So as you can imagine, this type of solution optimize the costing, the turnaround time, and could be, yes, very, very interesting for diagnostic laboratories. In terms of data analysis, we provide a sequencing platform, data analysis platform, which is available through a cloud-based environment, through a secure healthcare environment. In some cases, we can also install this platform locally when it is required. And this platform includes all the steps that you can see here. So you will be able to load NGS or Sanger data. And the platform, depending on the parameters, depending on the workflow, depending on the sequencing platform, will perform a full bioinformatic analysis, including realignment, variant calling, variant validation. We have as well an expert system which is able to validate the different mutation and perform as well subtyping. For each of the application, you will have separate drug resistance database. By example, for HIV, you have access to HIV-DB Stanford, ANRS, and many other local algorithms that are updated regularly, meaning that each time there is a new release of the HIV-DB Stanford algorithm, by example, we have our bioinformatics team that will implement, validate these new rules in the software, and it will be made available to all the partners in a very small time frame. As you will see in a few minutes, it includes as well a full reporting platform with different type of report, PDF, Excel, and even some data mining features. Around this platform, we propose different IT services like the storage of the data, so you can load all your data, organize the data, etc. Regular updates. As I mentioned to you, we keep updated all the knowledge base and also adding new feature regularly. And we have the possibility to develop integration with existing laboratory information system or hospital information system. So this is for the first part. Now I will give the hand to my colleague Laurent, who will present you a live demo of the MicroBioCheck genotyping software.
Thank you, Matthew. So as you explained, the MicroBioCheck platform is a web-based application. So you just need a web browser to access. The system is securized and also hosted in the HDS environment. And can also be installed locally on the sampling feature center. So for instance, I will log in on the platform. So you can, as you can see, we have application and license for each of our kit application. I will show you mainly the NGS DEEPCHEK HIV application. So the system can show also and store all your run in the system. So you just have to upload your data, your run analysis, and the system will upload, keep them, and after that you can run drug resistance analysis on it. So let's start with the uploading a new run. So I create a new run which called webinar. We can select the platform used for that run and also the type of sample and other many information. So the next wizard will be easy. You just have to drop your FASTQ data inside the system. So I'm just selecting some to not load too much in the system. The system will automatically, if it's from an Illumina platform, will automatically concatenate and detect the pair and FASTQ, and will create a sample name based on the FASTQ name. The user can also modify all those information. And you can also add some sample information like the viral load, the plasma type, also some information about the kit and the sequencing, and also link it to your patient. What is also important is that the data, we can interconnect the MicroBioCheck platform with some local LIS to give the results to the clinician. So once you have uploaded your FASTQ, you have to set up your analysis. The system provides some default profile data for this configuration of analysis, but you can also create your own profiles. The system will have it's based on the bioinformatics pipeline. Behind that bioinformatics pipeline, there are many expert systems. We have our own expert system configuration. You can have some different fields and configuration based on your sequencing and the quality of your data. The report that would be generated is fully configurable. You can select algorithm. You can also highlight the mutation of interest. The report have several sections that you can disable or activate it based on what you need. And we can also select the resistance interpretation threshold. We have many kind of reporting. So we have a full page reporting and a clinical summary report. So I will just pass all those details for that webinar and go directly to run this analysis. So once you have uploaded the FASTQ, the system will load the FASTQ into MicroBioCheck, and then we'll start the analysis. So do not wait until the analysis is finished. I will go back to a previous run that I did just before, and the user would be able to review the results and review the report. So on this new platform, we have a way to display all information. We have tab information about the quality controls. We have also the coverage graph by regions, and also some table information about the quality. You can see the whole coverage. We have the forward, the reverse, and the total coverage. You have also a way to see the drug resistance by class algorithm. In this case, I checked the two algorithms, ANRS and HIVDD from Stanford, and the system can compare the both algorithms. When interest mutation is detected, it's also added to the good threshold, and the resistance is displayed. So in this case, we have a low frequency mutation that could lead to a resistance to the dorinavir in this case, for example. About the subtyping, we can also determine the subtyping by region, and also we have variant mutation grid listing by region all mutation and the presence at the chosen threshold by the user. You have also interest mutation. This case we select the ANRS guidelines, and you are displayed in a red one color to well identify them. The system also produce some several exporting format, and also a final PDF that you can review, and the user are available to validate or reject the PDF, and adding some commentary inside. So yes, the system can also list, we can also list the patient. So I create a patient and I link to this patient to sample, and the system can also make some cumulative interpretation report for HIV to see longitudinally the drug resistance. Yes. So Matthew, I think we have met the.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Laurent, for this presentation. Now I will give the end to Dr. Lutgertman for the presentation. Thank you very much, Laurent.
Yeah, warm welcome from Hamburg. It's a big pleasure for me to present our data, and this presentation was mainly done by Denise Heim, and she's, I think, also on this call at home. So yeah, many thanks to her for the data, and I'm really pleased to share our first experience with your kids. Please, next slide. So this is a picture of our university. So we are very proud that we have like 1,700 patients on the different wards, but we also see around more than 500,000 patients, mainly ambulance patients. And we have special ambulance for HIV and infectious disease, and that's where we majorly got our patients and also the requests for HIV genotyping and resistant testing. So next slide. Yeah, our workflow is easy. So we receive plasma samples, and if the copy number is above 1,000 copies with the Roche Cobas assay, we will perform an RNA extraction, with the QIAsymphony system, and we will evaluate in 110 microliter. Next slide. Yes, and then the new workflow is we're using your old like specialized kits. The one kit for the protease and the reverse transcriptase, then the other for the integrase, and then for the tropism. And then at the end, everything will be pooled and then put on the same sequence run and then analyzed still by your old software. So yes. Next slide, please. Yeah, again, that's one of your kits. We use the Illumina ISAC 100, and then of course your software for analysis. Yeah. Next slide. First, I will briefly show you our validation or verification analysis. And so before that, we did a Sanger LDT assay. And so the idea was to compare our results, Sanger LDT, with your method using a cutoff of above 20% in the NGS. And I will show you some data, method comparison and precision. We start with the method comparison data. So we had 24 different patients, and we analyzed the protease, the reverse transcriptase, and the integrase, and we got a complete agreement in 17 out of 24 samples. We found 6 additional mutations in NGS and 3 additional mutations in Sanger. And if this was on the genotypic analysis, but if we could look at the clinical interpretation, there was a high agreement, so complete agreement in 23 out of 24 patients, and we had a minor clinical resistance, which was only seen in NGS. In addition, we always perform ring trials. These are the German ring trials, instant. They're once a year, so once in 2022 and 2023, and so everything was in complete agreement, clinical and sequence agreement. Okay. Next slide. Then the tropismus results. Here with NGS, we could get results in 15 out of 16 patients. And this was quite better than our Sanger method. There we just had 7 out of 16. And that's the reason why the complete agreement is like 6 out of 7. The ring trials were fine, although in the last ring trial we had a problem with the amino acid sequence. So there was one amino acid missing, but the clinical interpretation was completely fine. Okay, next slide. And here is the precision, so intra-assay, and I will then later show you also some from our routine data in inter-assay precision data. And here we had 2 samples. Both were run 4 times. Always started with the extraction. And highlighted are the difference. The first sample is highly viremic, so 10 to the 8, so immense viral load. And what I think it's not unexpected, but if you look at the protease or other targets or mutations of interest, you see that there is not really a variation. So this is really, really precise. The only thing is the E44D, and this is a little bit fluctuating sharply around 3%, which is might be not unexpected that once it pops up and on other sample it didn't show up. But everything else is very precise. Then we move to the other sample, which is a little bit less viremic. Still 1 million isn't bad. And here what we can see, so it's 4 repetition of the same. And here we saw more fluctuation. The protease was in low coverage in 2 out of 4. And we also had some, in the last one, we had some mutation popping up around 3 to 6%. And this really reassured us that we, at the moment, stay with the interpretation of above 20% for clinical evaluation. So we will not report something below 10. Next slide, please. Yeah, and here is the data. So in each run in Hamburg, we run 1 negative. So the whole process is a negative serum, which will be extracted and then amplified, and we run the very same positive control. This is a mixture done by ourselves from 2 patients. And we try to get the viral load a little bit lower to really see if something in the process isn't perfect. And here again, to ease up the data, because it's quite complex, I just show the clinical interpretation, and what can be seen in red is the difference. Is that basically, if you use the 20% cutoff, it's quite robust, although the viral load isn't high, but we see that sometimes mutations around 10 to 20 can also fluctuate. So you see rilivipine sometimes is called resistant, and sometimes the 20% is interpreted as intermediate. This prompted us to, if we have resistant above 10%, so between 10 and 20, we report this with caution. And our interpretation, although we cannot be 100% sure, because as said, it's self-made, so I cannot completely guarantee that it's 100% equally mixed and other thing, but something can, so you can have variation around this 20% cutoff wells as well, which might be clinical relevant. Next slide, please. Right. If we now move to our routine data, we just analyzed the latest 80 samples to ease the whole process, and just plasma samples. So the median viral load in our cohort was like, around 10 to the 5, starting from 10 to 3 to, several times 10 to the 6. And so the complete target sequence we received in 93% basically of the protease, reverse transcriptase, or integrase. And we saw a little bit less success in the tropism. This was 85%. And if you look overall, so all sequence, everything complete, we are at 75%. If we take a closer look to what happened in there, we looked at what is the genotype. We see, okay, it does affect genotype B, genotype A6, and so on. So I don't see anything popping up. And at the moment, we don't know the reason. Maybe it's like that the primers are suboptimal. Sometimes the viral load isn't that high, and I can also not completely exclude problems in the lab. So it's a complete manual workflow. We do the best that we can. The controls are positive, but of course we cannot exclude, or I cannot exclude that. Things were pipetted correctly, although for everything which is above 10 to the 6, we did a repeat and we didn't succeed. So there, in some cases, I'm pretty sure that the primers are not optimal, but the same was also true for our Sanger primers. Next slide, please. Yeah, and so to summarize our finding, we have now the HIV NGS workflow in our routine diagnostics since a little bit more than 6 months. 6 months. We are quite satisfied. The workflow is convenient. The technician like that it's everything the same, and so but the hand-on time, I have to say, so it's pretty much the same, especially if you look at the technician time. So the data analysis, this is significantly faster and the reports are much nicer. But if you really look at the technician time, we didn't saw much benefit from moving from Sanger to the NGS. So what's our further plan here is, of course, we really want to look in your automation solution and get some information. Denise already checked it out in one of your centers, and that's something. Of course, I also like this concept that you can add to the same workflow other targets as well. And so we already have some nice data on CMV, HCV, and HPV. Which of course then can put at the end in the same run. I think that our verification data shows that the NGS workflow with 20% cutoff does really have similar results than at least our Sanger LDT. The success rate is comparable, or in the tropismus even a little bit higher than our old Sanger. Although I have to say it's not optimal yet. So I'm really so. Of course, you want 100%. That's always, and the clinician are asking, so why you don't get sequence? There's a high viral load. So the understanding that sometimes this is not possible is low. So I think we really want to evaluate your new assay, full genome assay with updated primer sets there, either as an alternative, because I really think that, only amplifying small targets isn't very satisfying. So I really would love to have the full gene, and as backup, in case we have failed amplification on a de novo infection. Yeah. So, and that's already the end of the of the small presentation. I really like to thank Denise and all the technicians who really took part in getting the data done and getting the daily workflow running. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ludgertman. So it is very appreciated, and it was a very nice presentation. As I mentioned to everyone at the beginning of the call, unfortunately, Dr. Graziella Zara from Mater Dei Hospital in Malta is not able, for personal reason, to present our user experience with our kit. As you can see here currently in my screen, our slides are available upon request. I will be pleased to share the slide with you. So don't hesitate to contact us in the same email address where you requested to be added to this webinar. So now I will open the question and answers session. So let me move to the chat here. So please feel free to write all your questions here in the chat. So for now, I see that there was no question during the presentation, but yes, now you are completely free to type your questions. We have also, of course, the possibility to answer to your questions in writing by email after this presentation. For you to know, to all the participants today, we will send the slide and the recording of this webinar. So I have a first question here. The question is the software pipeline for free to use? So I will address this question. So the software is proposed on annual license fees. There is some fees for the platform, and then you can activate different modules depending on the application that you want to address. So, of course, the price is very interesting, as many applications as you may have. So this is the commercial software, especially because we are providing support. We are providing also updates of the database. We are also providing storage and hosting. So special hosting for healthcare data. And for all those reasons, we propose this software on a business model which is annual license fees that give access to an unlimited number of users for a particular application. And all the features that have been provided, that have been shown during the small live demo are included. So the software, the reports, the upload of the file, etc. Everything is included in the license fees. So I hope it answers this first question. Now I have another questions regarding our experience with low viral load. So in other words, below 1,000 copies typically. So for this part, our assay had been validated with this cutoff in terms of viral load, but we have various users' experience actually that are able to have very interesting data with samples below this cutoff. We are proposing, let's say, a specific protocol for low viral load, including ultracentrifugation or RNA concentration. And we have sometimes managed to sequence samples down to 30 copies. So it's quite impressive. And we have also some publication from labs with this experience on low viral load. So I will be pleased to share this publication upon request. So the next questions is if a lab is using our kits, is it still requiring license fees to use the software? So this is an interesting question. So it is a proposal which is tailored to each client, and this is true that we can offer interesting commercial offer if a lab is using both the kits and the software. Okay, so let me check for the next questions. So perhaps from ABL side, Giuseppina, are you able to talk and to answer the next question, please?
Yes, thank you, Matthew. Thank you, everyone, for joining the call. Regarding the next question, which is the volume to use, so we suggest the kit is validated at least the HIV with 1 ml of plasma. However, also as mentioned by Matthew before, we have also some clients that start with less, like 500 microliter, getting good results. However, our recommendation would be to start with 1 ml.
Thank you, Giuseppina.
You're welcome.
So let me wait for a few minutes if there are additional questions that pop up in the chat. And if it is not the case, then I will thank you, everyone, and we can close the webinar for today. So if you have questions, please free to write now, please. So the next question, perhaps Giuseppina, you can help me as well. The question is, what type of samples have been validated with our kits?
Okay, talking again regarding the HIV kit, normally we use plasma, but also proviral DNA and blood.
So as far regarding the DBS, Giuseppina, as far as I know, it is still under validation,
Yes.
but we obtain some interesting results that need to be confirmed. So thank you everyone for your participation. Again, please feel free to contact us via email to ask additional question, to request for another presentation or a web meeting. I will share with all the people here today or tomorrow. I will share the full presentation and also the link to the recording of this session. And the last question that I'm seeing here, we can address them via email. So thanks again. Special thanks to Dr. Ludgertman for the presentation, and see you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.